And we are live. Y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Nourish and Flourish. Nourish and Flourish Vibes. Y'all, the number one mukbang in the universe for healthy living and eating. It's your healthy habits lifestyle coach, Joe Bonnie, and I help those with endometriosis and polycystic ovarian syndrome reduce chronic pain, eliminate stress, and minimize irregular or heavy periods. How? Through holistic coaching. Y'all, thanks for coming and vibing with me. Ma, let them know who you are.
Good evening. I'm Giovanni. I'm Giovanni's mom. I'm here with another episode of Nourish and Flourish. I am a nurse by trade, a mother of 3 J's. Giovanni just happens to be J1. She's the oldest. I have a J1, J2, and J3. And we are coming to you tonight with some meatloaf. Meatloaf. So how many of you grew up eating meatloaf? We're from South Carolina originally. My dad was in the Army, so we traveled a good bit, but I've eaten a good bit of meatloaf in my life. And I'm excited to try a new version of meatloaf tonight. Giovanni, you want to tell them about the meatloaf that we have tonight? Oh, and I'm actually in Lubbock, Texas today, traveling.
Right.
So I'm joining you from Lubbock.
There you go. What's happening in Lubbock?
Work, but I'm staying at this Cotton Hotel. It's really nice. I've never stayed here before. It's a pretty new hotel, and it's all about cotton. I didn't realize that Lubbock grows a ton of cotton. Didn't know that. My Uber driver was telling me that today when he picked me up from the airport. But I'm hungry as usual.
Of Uber drivers, I feel like they are some of the most wise people. Like Uber drivers can really give you some interesting facts that you really don't know. Like it's not just a ride, a pick up and drop off service. Like if you really engage and interact with your Uber driver, you could learn so much about life, the world, culture, different places. When you said that, it made me think about my Uber driver when I went to the podcast summit in Miami last year. Shout out to all the podcasters out there, especially the Black podcasters and the woman podcasters. But most importantly, shout out to the Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives podcast, 4 Vibrations, very own podcast that is all about acknowledging the journey of strengths that we all are taking when it comes to health challenges. Tomorrow, another episode drops on each and every podcast distribution platform. Make sure you look up Empowered Plates, Empowered Lives. Check out an episode 2, 3, or 30, and make sure that you rate.
Are you able to drop the link sometime in here, Giovanni, in the comment section so they can click on it?
Link to the description in the video. All links to the podcast.
Did y'all hear that?
Find it.
The link is in the description of the video.
But also, if you don't ever want to miss the Nourish and Flourish Vibe video mukbang, then you should definitely make sure you go ahead and click subscribe to the 4 Vibrations 2347. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an opportunity when I or we go live. And if you're on Facebook, slide on over to YouTube and make sure you go ahead and get your follow on. But we were talking about the podcast summit in Miami, and I was in a Tesla. It's my first time riding a Tesla, and I met this man who was Cuban, and he was just giving me all of this different,
Hi today. Today just posted in the comment section.
Here, that household chef.
That's J3 Chef today.
And so he was really going in on like the Cubans and their history into Miami and what it looked like. And it was just like, oh my goodness, I had no idea. And it was just very informative and insightful, and I absolutely enjoyed that. So I don't know if y'all ever had any. Another on. Ma, was that your first time ever having a good Uber driving experience? Like learning something?
No. Mm-mm. My first Uber driver, when I came out to Lubbock for the first time, he actually turned off the Uber app and gave me a grand tour of Lubbock from one end to the other. He had just moved back home. This is his home from Dallas. He worked in Dallas and then retired and moved back home. Actually had his house paid off because he had renters in his house. He had his house built, came to Dallas to worked for 27 years, I believe. The renters paid the mortgage. So he came back home after retirement and his house was paid off, and he's driving Uber just to have something to do and enjoys taking people around. Gave me a grand tour. Nice African American young man, and came home to take care of his parents and just to live the rest of his retirement life here in his hometown. Didn't know that Buddy Holly was from Lubbock until then. He took me to the Buddy Holly exhibit. I didn't know that Mac Davis, if you all don't know who Mac Davis is, go look him up. If you were born in the 60s, you probably know who he is because there was a Mac Davis show and he had a song saying, "Baby, baby, don't get hooked on me." And my fifth grade teacher, Mr. Barry Leach, I don't know if anybody out there knows him or knew him, but Mr. Leach looked a lot like Mac Davis. And so we would come to school the next day after the Mac Davis show and, "Mr. Leach, you look like Mac Davis. Can you sing?" But in South Carolina, Millwood Elementary School, Mr. Leach was a science teacher. And I actually had a great pleasure taking care of him once I became a nurse, administered chemo to him, and was actually at his bedside when he passed away. So pretty neat little fact there. Pretty neat little fact. But we're talking about Meatloaf tonight. And there is a band. Isn't there a group called Meatloaf, Giovanni?
I don't know.
Yeah, growing up, there was a band called Meatloaf. So I listen to all different genres of music. I'm an Army brat. So when we traveled, we didn't have just one type of music to listen to. It was all top 40s and pop music that we listened to on Air Force's network. So yeah, there's a band out there called Meatloaf. I don't know what they play. I don't know what their songs are. I can't remember. I'm sure if I hear one of their songs, I'll know. Definitely. So let's talk a little bit about Meatloaf, Giovanni.
Let's talk about it. And shout out to Uber. I hope you understand that you couldn't be a sponsor of the Nourish and Flourish Mukbang because that segment was just dedicated to appreciate all of our Uber drivers out there that are just really not just servicing, but also being able to provide an opportunity to put a knowledge, specialize in the areas that they're taking us around. So it's not just a safe ride, but it's also an insightful ride. So shout out to all the Uber drivers. I hope you appreciate that segment because we appreciate your service. We are getting into this meatloaf today. This meatloaf is brought to you by Recipe O Cliff. You already know that is my go-to spot in the streets for some raw treats and eats. So this meatloaf is made out of walnuts, sweet peppers, mushrooms, a whole bunch of different spices and herbs. And we're about to try this meatloaf. All right.
Mine's not as pretty as yours because mine traveled on the airplane.
It's not as pretty. I can't see. Let me see it, Ma.
Can you see mine?
Yeah, I can see it a little bit. Can y'all see our meatloaf patties? I wonder if it's going to be as good as the falafel balls we had. What you think?
You ready? You ready to dig in?
Mm-hmm. Wait, did you say your grace?
Yep.
Ready? Here we go. Tap it to the camera. Let's get it.
Come on. Has meatloaf flavor, that's for sure.
It does. And I'm not even a huge meatloaf fan. Like, I never really cared for meatloaf before. I love that it has a lot of flavor to it. I'm liking this sun-dried tomato topping.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all can see it.
I'm getting some of the nuttiness from the nuts in there.
It is from the walnuts. She's in
Mm-hmm.
Lubbock, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can
Yeah,
see my mom,
I'm working today.
she also
Working out of town. I help
have.
patients get waitlisted for transplant, for kidney transplant.
Mm,
So that's what I'm doing here tomorrow and Thursday, visiting with dialysis clinics and talking to patients. This meatloaf is really good. So what type of meatloaf did you all grow up on? I grew up on beef meatloaf, made out of ground beef. When I decided to get away from the red meats back in 2007, I moved to a turkey meatloaf, ground turkey meatloaf. Then in 2012, 2013, when I started, when I watched that movie Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, I went away from the ground turkey. And that's when Jade and I tried a lentil meatloaf. We made a meatloaf made out of lentils. I don't know, Jade, do you remember making that in South Carolina? A meatloaf made out of lentils? Turned
it's
out
got a
really,
little
really,
kick to
really
it.
good.
Yours got a little kick to it. Mine got a little kick to it.
Mm-hmm, it does. So moving forward from lentil meatloaf, when we discovered which one was it, Jamani, that we got in the ground form? Beyond. I think we got Beyond ground meat, and I started making meatloaf out of that. In the last few years, that's what we used.
I was never a huge fan of the ground Beyond Meat. I would just take the actual burger and kind of cook that and kind of chop it up. I really wasn't a huge fan of the ground Beyond Meat. But no longer, we're really not even buying the processed meats anymore. Okay. Let Kids Play podcast, beef, and now you use turkey. Which one do you prefer, the taste of, the beef or the turkey? Am I with y'all lentil? You and Quan's lentil meatloaf? Really good?
Yeah,
Or
it
y'all
turned out
just
really
tried it
good.
one time and never went back to it?
I think I did it twice. Mm-hmm.
Did you like the lentil over the Beyond?
Well, I can't say that I did. I would have to taste them side by side because it's been so long. That's been 10 years ago, at least.
All right, y'all. So we are eating raw meatloaf made out of walnuts, mushrooms, sweet peppers. As you can see on the top, sun-dried tomatoes. We got it on top of some spinach because we have been committed to a raw type of vibe for April. It's actually really, really good. I would eat this meatloaf over regular meatloaf. I really wasn't a fan of meatloaf, but this, it has a little kick to it, so a little slight kick. Recipe Cliff knows how to season their foods. Do you hear me?
Yeah, they really have good seasonings on their food. You're never lacking seasonings with Recipe Cliff.
Never.
That's what I like about it. Now, when I used to eat meatloaf, I would have it mainly with mashed potatoes or potatoes. So when I did we used to eat the cauliflower mashed potatoes.
Cauliflower mash.
Mm-hmm.
What y'all eat with y'all meatloaf? Do y'all do mashed potatoes with your meatloaf too? That's your go-to?
It was like mashed potatoes and sweet peas. Were like the meatloaf meal. And what did y'all put on top of your meatloaf? My little topping stuff was made out of ketchup, agave, sriracha. Ketchup, agave, and sriracha. I used to mix it up. It had some good sweet heat, and put it on top of my meatloaf when I was before I baked my meatloaf. And this one actually has some kind of sweet heat to it also, with the sun-dried tomatoes.
You think that's what's bringing in the flavor to sun-dried tomatoes?
Mm-hmm. Did you let Jade taste yours?
I did not. You think he wants to taste it?
I don't know. Got a 50-50 chance.
Girl, it's so good. So y'all,
I didn't think I would like it, room temperature. I thought I would want it more warmed up, but I can tolerate this. It still has really good flavor. I'm accustomed to, how we're accustomed to warm meatloaf.
I don't know if y'all can
Sorry,
see
Divine,
it.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're okay. Y'all, walnuts are rich in omega-3 fatty acids and are anti-inflammatory. They're also good for other metabolic conditions, but definitely awesome for those with PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, endometriosis, fibroids. These are the kind of nuts you need to eat. These are the kind of nuts you should swallow. Some good walnuts. Put these in your mouth to help you minimize inflammation. And know that inflammation is the cause of many, many chronic illnesses. My
Such
goodness.
as high blood pressure.
They help with high blood pressure too, walnuts.
I'm saying some high blood pressure is caused by inflammation. Most diseases are caused by, have some component of inflammation.
The mushrooms, because there's mushrooms in this meatloaf patty, this raw meatloaf patty. There's mushrooms too. Mushrooms is a good source of protein for those on a plant-based diet or lifestyle.
Now remember, we're always telling you guys what we're doing. Just letting you know what we're doing. Even though I'm a nurse, when I come on here talking about different diseases and things that may help those diseases, you need to do your own research and see what helps your body. What helps me may not help you, and vice versa. What helps you may not help me. We're all individuals. We're all uniquely made.
And the sweet peppers are high in antioxidants as well. And like my mama said, we're only showing y'all, and that's the same thing for the podcast. Anytime we come on, we're just being visible and vocal about our own healing journeys and what we're doing to maintain our health or get back to the state of health that we want to be in, to be able to have that vibrant life, and try our best to prevent or reverse things that are going on. So always, we're just here to show you what we got going on for you to be able to take your own journey and your own healing in your own hands. We're just here to empower you and give you some ideas creatively. But guess what? In the description of this video is an anti-inflammatory guide, and that will help you focus on the foods, focus on the movements, also focus on how stress, sleep hygiene, all of that plays a part in inflammation. Remember, I told you inflammation causes a lot of chronic illnesses outside of endometriosis, polycystic ovary syndrome, fibroids. You have cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, arthritis, so many things that inflammation drives, or is the root of those issues. Start getting into an anti-inflammatory diet. Start getting more nuts, seeds, fruits, vegetables into your life. And now you can't say, well, you told me to eat nuts. What I'm supposed to do, just eat walnuts all day? Nah. Go and get you some meatloaf made out of walnuts, sweet peppers, mushrooms. So get creative with the foods that you need to eat more of so that the food that you eat is good and it's also good for you. And eating good food and making good gut decisions just shows how much you really love yourself and how much you want to take care of yourself and do right by you. because you deserve it.
And like Giovanni said, we're here to empower you, empower your plate, empower your life, give you some options, something, some ideas on what you can try to, try different things. I'm not going to be raw all my life, but we did a challenge. Sometimes just challenge yourself to do something different. Challenge yourself to try different fruits or vegetables that you've never tried before. Just challenge yourself.
What I think is good about the challenge, though, Mom, when you really take a challenge and you're focused on a certain thing you want to embrace, whether it's movement or a type of eating more of this type of food or less of this type of food, you're challenging your relationship with yourself. You're challenging your relationship with your mind and your body. Doing this raw journey, like we're challenging our relationship with food. Because typically you wouldn't be eating meatloaf made out of walnuts, mushrooms, and sweet bell peppers or sweet peppers. You'll probably be getting it from the beef or the ground turkey or some other processed plant-based meat or something like that. Like maybe you tried the lentils like my mama tried 10, 12 years ago. Not quite sure. But the goal is to really become, more aware of your relationship with food. And when you're able to say, you know what, I want to eat more fruits this month, or I want to eat more vegetables this month, or I want to really not cook my food this month because I heard that the less you heat up your food, the more you're able to get all of the nutritious benefits that food has to offer for your body. And you say, okay, well, let me try to get as many raw meals in as I can. And that's just you challenging yourself to, one, your relationship with food, but two, to increase your nutrition. Increase your nutrition, opportunity to feel better. I feel like for me, I know that once I started eating more fruits, more vegetables, getting in my juices, smoothies, getting away from processed foods as much, not eating as many fried foods, I started feeling better. My gut started feeling better. My period got regular. My period pain is pretty much non-existent. My energy levels are good. My mood is pretty much good. Like the foods that I'm eating, and now that I'm on this raw journey, I could just feel my energy being where it is, and my focus is out of this world. Like it's been able to allow me to focus more, and just keep going. And there was like the other night, I only had 3 hours of sleep, and the next day I got up, I did a podcast recording, I had a VIP day. Shout out to Rewire, and I just felt good. And it wasn't until I laid my body down at 8 o'clock to go to sleep that my body just kind of, I don't want to say crash, but it was just like, yes, this is the time to rest. And speaking of rest, sleep hygiene is real. The goal is to get at least 7 hours of sleep a night. That helps your body as well when it comes to trying to prevent diseases and be able to heal and allow your body to just digest your food. So sleep hygiene is very helpful when it comes to your health and trying to maintain a good, healthy state of vitality. So stress management, sleep, those are key as well. But this anti-inflammatory lifestyle has been one for the books, and I'm so proud of myself for doing it. And I just want you to know it's possible. And so that's another reason why I try to show up every week, just to let you know it's possible to change your relationship with food. It's possible to motivate yourself and encourage yourself to move, encourage your family to move, your loved ones to move.
Giovanni, you almost done?
Mm-hmm.
I just texted today to see if he wanted to come down and try.
I already asked him. He said no.
Okay.
I think he said he just brushed his teeth. But this thing was really good. And it does have, you can definitely tell the play that it had on meatloaf. Like it definitely did give that vibe. And I'm not one of those people who says, oh my God, it tastes just like meatloaf. Oh my God, it tastes just like fried chicken. Because it's not. The meat I just put in my mouth, the nuts I just swallowed, was walnuts, mushrooms, sweet peppers. It wasn't your ground beef. It wasn't your ground turkey. When we eat plant-based meals that take a play off of something we're used to and we're familiar with, it's just for us to go back to being able to have something that is familiar to our taste, our texture, and the experiences that we're used to and we're accustomed to. It's not to make it taste just like what we had, because just like what we had isn't giving us the nutritional value and benefits that we actually need. And so when you're out trying different things, I want you to remember to keep an open mind, because you're opening up your body to healing. You're opening up your body to being able to experience more life, more healing. So just be optimistic and just try it. And you're not going to like everything. Everything you eat, you're not going to like. The first raw soup I made, I ain't like. I posted it. I showed y'all. I tried it. It wasn't good. Look at my mom. She was like, I can't even eat it. But the second one, I couldn't stop her from eating that second one. So you're just trying different things and being creative. What I love absolutely most about this raw journey, though, is that it doesn't take long to fix you something. Like, you don't have to wait for something to thaw out. You don't have to wait for something to cook. You don't have to wait to boil something. You don't have to wait to put something in the air fryer and let it take a long time. Like, it's just all about putting it together. And my mama did these collard wraps yesterday. They were so freaking good. And the dressing she made was out of avocados, and it really gave me this ranch vibe. Like, I don't know if did it give you a ranch vibe? It gave me a ranch vibe to it. I don't know. Like, I could use that as a ranch alternative. Like, I could dip sweet peppers in it. I dip cucumbers in it. And I'm never a person that just ate peppers just by itself. That dressing, that avocado dressing my mom made, I gotta go watch the video. Y'all gonna have to watch the video too. It was good.
And I've never had raw collard greens before. Of course, I grew up on collard greens. I'm from South Carolina. But our collard greens, my sister used to boil the what was it, ham hocks. Boil the ham hocks, cook them down, then put the greens in and cook them down. Oh my gosh, and it was so good. Yeah, I used to eat ham hocks, believe it or not. But that was the way we ate then. You know, that was the culture of how we ate, and we've changed that when we found out how it affects us, our bodies. We actually change how we eat things, but we still eat them and we still enjoy them. I thought the collard greens were going to be too tough, because when I was cleaning them, I soaked them just like we do our vegetables before we juice, soaked them in some apple cider vinegar and some baking soda. And then after I washed them off, I rubbed them with some citrus. I did limes. They said rub it with some citrus, some olive oil, and salt, and just kind of massage it. I know some of y'all have seen that for kale salad. I never knew that before. So I did that. Jade said, let it sit about 15 or 20 minutes. So I let it sit about 20 minutes. Then I did the wraps. It was delicious. Had a nice little crunch. Had good flavor, though, too. Who would have thought I would have been eating raw collard greens without ham hocks?
It was a first for us yesterday, y'all. A first. It was a cherry popping experience. See what happens when you can massage and oil down a good green. And then roll that mug up. It was so good. I got y'all. Wait till you see that video. We'll have to show you the video. The video's gonna drop. We might need to do that for a mukbang one day, Marlena.
We can.
Let them see how that goes. That might need to be a move. Y'all want to see that? Let us know in the comments if you're live right now, or if you're watching this after we finish the live stream. Let us know if you want us to actually do some meal prepping with y'all, creating the meals while we're talking, and then sit down and eat instead of being able to just kind of eat and talk. Let us know if you want to see some of those. We might be able to pull some of those off as well.
I like that she gave us this too.
I didn't even open my container.
I used this to dip my greens in, my salad.
Girl, I didn't even have enough for that to dip. I just ate it straight off the fork. Stab and eat. Stab and eat. So shout out to Recipe Oak Cliff in South Dallas for the raw eats, allowing us to try this meatloaf. I will be streaming on Saturday, going live. So again, make sure you're following the YouTube channel for Vibrations 2347, and you click that notification bell on so you know when I'm going live. It's a community day, and she got some food she wants me to try out. So come with me. I'm inviting y'all to come with me on Saturday. Join the live experience. Let's go see who's out here in the streets with these plant-based eats. Ooh, did that, Mom. Let me show you mine.
That was really good.
You know what we had.
That was really good.
So pull up. And if you download the guide, like come back and let me know what stood out to you in the guide. What was some new information that you didn't even know was going on? What inspired you in that guide? So come back and let me know. Don't just get the guide and don't say anything else to me. Let me know what's going on, how it helped, if it helped, if you learned anything new. But make sure you click the link in the description and download your free anti-inflammatory guide and see how it inspires you on this lifestyle to reduce inflammation. And a lot of times people say, well, you didn't say what foods to avoid. I'm all for encouraging you to eat and do the things that's good for you and not telling you what you need to stay away from, because it's your life, your decision, your journey. But common foods that cause inflammation is dairy, sugar, processed foods. But again, do your research, but most importantly, see how your body feels after you eat certain things. Start keeping a food diary. If you're starting to feel a certain type of way after you eat something, jot that down. Jot everything down that you just ate. So you start becoming more aware of the things that are good for you, good to you. So the foods that you love you back. All right, so get the guide. Make sure you're following the channel. Be ready to hear the episode that drops tomorrow on the Empire Plates, Empire Lives podcast. And if you are trying to start this lifestyle and you don't really know where to start and you're looking for a healthy habits and lifestyle coach, click the link in the description, complete the application, book the call. Let's talk. Let's get our vibe on and see how I can help you on this journey, because that's the whole reason why I'm on it. I wanted to let you know that it's possible, but I'm healing myself and I'm learning more about me and I'm showing up to love me. So I would love to empower you as well. Ma, what you got for the people?
I'm proud of you for what you're doing. I'm proud of you for reaching out to help people. I'm proud of you for seeing what's helped you. And even though you didn't like being in front of the camera a lot, talking, I know you're a dancer and you sure didn't mind being in front of the camera on stage dancing. But being in front of the camera and talking was different for you. So I'm proud of you for stepping out of your comfort zone and starting your podcast and making it happen. I'm proud of everyone who's making those lifestyle changes with their diet. We're by no means saying, don't eat meat, don't eat beef. We're not saying that. We're just telling you what we're doing when we're doing it. I know that some people eat beef because they have to, they feel like they have to eat it to keep their blood levels up when their hemoglobin is dropping. A lot of dialysis patients, they eat a lot of red meat when their hemoglobin is low. But there are also some fruits and vegetables that you can eat that can help with that also. So anytime there's a reason for you to eat meat, always go and do some research to see if there's a fruit or a vegetable or something naturally occurring out of the ground that could potentially help with that, and do a comparison for yourself and see how it works for you. Like we said before, we're just sharing what we're doing, what's helping us and how it's helping us. Oh, and I did have a young lady. So, I'm a nurse. A few other things that I do. I actually, and I'm a life insurance agent. So I sell life insurance and retirement plans. I actually had a young lady the other day who thought she had a life insurance plan for $500,000. And it was so funny because I thought the same thing. A few years ago, I bought this life insurance from my credit union. I won't say what the name of the credit union is in South Carolina. I had this life insurance for years. I mean, like 10 years. And it was an accidental death and dismemberment policy. It wasn't a life insurance policy. So if I would have died, if it was not an accident, it wouldn't have even paid out. So she thought she had a good policy. So yesterday we were able to get her set up on a great policy that she was very excited about and start looking at her retirement also. I don't know, Giovanni, if you can share my QR code for life insurance. I can send that to you. We can share that one day too. If you all want to go on there and see what type of Policies are out there. A lot of people are talking about IULs. A lot of people are talking about IULs. They're getting a lot of hype on social media. If you want to learn more about an IUL, I can share some information about that. I got my first IUL in 21 and I got my second one in 23. So I have two IULs. But we have some products that could really help you. And I also teach CPR. Guys, I started teaching CPR back in I want to say 98. Used to go to churches and teach a lot of people how to do CPR because you don't know when that time is going to come when you're going to be the one in the room that's witnessing an incident and you may not know what to do. And you don't want to feel helpless. I don't want you to feel helpless. I want you to know what to do, how you can respond, and how you can potentially save someone's life. So if you're looking for CPR, adult, child, and infant, I teach CPR also. And guess what's the last thing I'm going to tell you that I do? Build houses from the ground up, from dirt to done. Yes. And we were talking about my Uber driver today. So he didn't know what I did. When we got in the car, he just started talking to me about Lubbock. This is your first time here? I said, no, this is my third or fourth time. And he said, well, let me tell you a few things about Lubbock. He started talking about cotton. Didn't know Lubbock, did a lot of cotton. You grew a lot of cotton. Then he started talking about building houses. He was like, this is the perfect place to build houses. Land is not expensive. Most of the time it's flat. It's already prepared. He didn't even know I build houses. But he didn't know that I never pick cotton. And I won't be picking it either. I'll wear it, but I don't pick it. But those are a few things that I do. Everything I do is all about helping people. If you're looking for someone to build your next home, if you've never owned a home, or someone whose family has never owned their own home, they've only rented and they want to own a home, shout me out. I'll see what I can do to give you a helping hand, that is. But anyway, Jamani, I'll hand it back over to you. I've enjoyed this episode. This meatloaf was delicious. Great opportunity.
It was. So shout out to Recipe Oak Cliff. Shout out to Uber and the Uber drivers in this episode. And then shout out to C2O coconut water. Because I definitely rinsed down those nuts and it's helped me swallow them. It's C2O coconut water. My favorite canned coconut water. It's my go-to. So, y'all, thank you for tuning in to this Nourish and Flourish Vibes Mukbang podcast. The #1 mukbang in the universe that's all about healthy eating and healthy living.
Look at this, Giovanni. When I checked in, they asked me would I like water or a beer. I said, I'll take water, please. And this is the water they gave me. It's music water. Never seen just regular canned water before, but it was a can of water they gave me. I haven't opened it yet.
I drank some rainwater on Saturday out of a can.
And how was it? This is purified drinking water.
I'm not really a huge water fan, but being able to have this C2O coconut water has like a little flavor to me. It makes me feel a whole lot better. Switching out the Kool-Aid for the cocoa nut water. But y'all,
and that's your favorite. Wait a minute, Giovanni. That's your favorite water, coconut water. You want to show them mine? Or we can do it next week. I went out yesterday and bought a case of my coconut water, my favorite coconut water from Whole Foods, 365 coconut water, organic. And oh my goodness, I forgot to pack it in my suitcase. So now I'm here for 3 days with no coconut water, and they don't have a Whole Foods in Lubbock. So I won't be getting any of my coconut water.
No, I don't see one handy.
I got a whole case over there, but we can do it next week.
I'll just let you shout them out since it's your favorite and not mine. All right, y'all. We appreciate you. We love you. But most importantly, thanks for vibing with us, y'all. Be easy.